And we are live. Welcome, everyone, to the Connected for Real podcast. I am Rebbetzin Bat-Chen Grossman, a marriage coach for women in business. And this is season 3. So we're talking about couples working together. And today I have Naama Goldberg. Naama, introduce yourself and tell everyone what you do and how you got to working together with your husband.
Thank you, Bat-Chen. Thank you for having me. I am originally South African, currently living in Israel, in Ramat Beit Shemesh, and originally a web developer, but over the last few years, I am now calling myself an artist. I am working together with my husband in creating Jewish art, specifically portraits of Gedolim, of Jewish rabbis, in a modern rendering. This is something that just kind of happened, but I embraced. I was looking in a Jewish religious home. Portraits of Rabbonim and Gedolim is a very important aspect. Having these portraits up on our walls reminds us of our priorities in life and our focus, and have these leaders just guide our way. And there are many Jewish leaders, and from Jews from many different cultures and parts of the world and histories. And for me, when we first got married, it was the first thing that was very important in my home was to make sure that there was a wall that was allocated for the Gedolim portraits. And but also I've also grew up in a very creative and artistic background, and aesthetics was very important to me. So as I was crafting together my home, I was looking for aesthetic pictures of the Gedolim to blend into my home. And from an aesthetic point of view, but from the hashkafa, from the philosophical and the chinuch and educational point of view, I knew the Rabbonim that I wanted up on my wall. But as much as I looked, and my husband and I looked, we couldn't find anything that I connected to and that I wanted to live with. And I was put in a difficult situation that these portraits, having these pictures on my walls was so important to me, but the aesthetics was also very important to me in my home, and feeling good in my home was very important to me. And so whatever I found was just a very different design, a little bit from the previous generations. And I was very into modern minimalistic design. And I thought that there shouldn't be any reason that I couldn't find what I wanted, to be able to have the modern contemporary minimalistic design as well as the spirituality of the Jewish leaders and of the portraits. But for years we actually looked, and we didn't give up looking, but I couldn't find, and I couldn't put anything else on my wall. So one Sukkot, which is when we wanted to put up Gedolim in our sukkah as well, which is also a tradition. I quickly went onto the computer and took a photo of a Rav and started playing with it. And it was really close to candle lighting. So I played with something, I sent it to print, I went into the shower, and I just told my husband, just take whatever comes out and put it up on the wall. And after candle lighting, when I went into the sukkah, I saw this picture on the wall, and I looked at it and I said, wow, that actually looks really interesting. There's something very nice and special there. And that was the beginning of the idea of our portraits. And later on, my husband and I always were happy to throw all sorts of ideas up in the air of things that could happen, maybe happen, or maybe never happen. But we would, anything was a possibility. So like sometimes we would discuss about how we were going to redo our entire house and knock down all the walls and buy the apartment upstairs and integrate it. And then we decided, no, we don't want the apartment upstairs, we'd take the apartment next door, and then we'd buy the whole building. And then we decided, no, we're not going to do that. And we were always talking about these options. So we started discussing what would be if we would create these artworks ourselves, and what would they look like? What material would we be using? And we started talking about stainless steel, laser cut stainless steel. At that time, it was coming out into the shops, and I was very fascinated by it because it's very minimalistic, precision made. And I thought that was a great material. And we had all sorts of discussions, but then at some point we went to South Africa to visit my parents, and my husband disappeared off for a few minutes or for a while, and he came back with this big box. I said, what's that? What's inside? And he opened it up and presented me with a laser cut stainless steel portrait of Rav Shach. And taken from the graphic that I had created for the sukkah, he had gone and he had contacted laser cutters working with stainless steel in South Africa. He's an aeronautical engineer, and so he works with aircraft and metal. And so for him, dealing with metal was like no big deal. For me, it was really like a foreign concept. How would we even start? And he just went ahead and did it. And he brought it home, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. This isn't something else amazing. And then the question was, wow, that's just one front layer. Now what do we put behind it? And then what do we do with all the details? Do we frame it? Don't we frame it? Do we put a signature? Don't we? And with every single stage, it was a big decision because I was very pedantic about, I wanted this to be top quality minimalistic art. But it had to be clearly identifiable who the Rav was, because that was the most important, which is that we should be able to identify and connect to this Jewish leader, and my children should be able to connect to it and know who it is and find their place in Jewish history. And so we had to work on many fronts to make it happen. But after a couple of years of working on it and getting it finally up on our wall, when people came in and I put it on the wall straight as you open the door, people would see it when they walk in. And they just looked at it and they said, wow, where did you get that? Where can I get that? And I realized that as much as we loved it, other people loved it as well. And they were also looking for that. They were also looking for that connection to the Rabbonim to continue the Jewish tradition, but in a modern minimalistic style, that there's no contradiction between the two. And they wanted to integrate that into their homes and into their office and into their schools. And so my husband and I decided that there seems to be a need and a market. And Hashem put this opportunity in our hand. We weren't looking for it, but here it is. And let's see what we can do with it. And so we decided to continue expanding our, to launch the business, to launch a website, to be able to process international orders, and then to expand our collection so that we can offer Rabbonim up to all Jews all over the world, coming from different cultural backgrounds, to Sfaradim, to Jews coming from Northern Africa, to Jews coming from Iraq, and to Hasidim, to Litaim, to Lubavitch. And where we are now is we currently have 27 different artworks that we're selling all over the world. And people are coming to us all the time to ask us for more, because this really connects them to their Jewish identity and to their modern being in the world. And what was very, very special about this is that I found myself in a business working with my husband on a totally different level. I came from the artistic side. My husband came from the technical side, and we needed each other intrinsically in order to create these artworks.
Yeah. So I want to really first of all, I think that it's so awesome that he made it for you as a surprise, because we talk about this all the time, right? Especially in the retreat and everything that I do. Your husband wants to make you happy so badly. And when he finally found something that he can do, that he knew you were going to be excited about, he went out of his way and made it happen. And it really made you happy. Right. So the seed of this whole project is that manifestation of exactly what we're talking about all the time, which is if you communicate what you need and what makes you happy, your husband will know what makes you happy, and then he'll go and do it and surprise you. And that feels really good. So I think that's really beautiful.
All right. Very much so.
So tell me about the challenges about working together, because you're the artist, he's the technical side, you're working on a joint project. How do you make sure that you don't bump into each other, that there's no conflict, that there's no, frustrations, resentments?
Right. That is something that we're very aware of. I think we grew up knowing that you should not go into business with your family and with your husband. So when this happened, so that was definitely a question. And number one, I think that both of us enjoy a challenge, and we enjoy something in addition to what our day jobs are. And so for us, initially, this was a fun project to work on together. And that's what I try to keep it that way. And I try to ensure that this is still fun and enjoyable, and that it just doesn't become stressful, and there doesn't be any resentment or pressure in any way, as much as possible, because that's what keeps us going, and that's what keeps it enjoyable. And I'm very aware of, Bezrat Hashem, as we grow, and we are, that we have we set things up in a way that when we see that it's becoming too much, that we can bring other people in and lower the pressure on us, and we can make the decisions of, we want to do this or we don't want to go into this, and we don't feel pressurized. I also very early on decided that to give ourselves titles, and I titled my husband with the CTO, the Chief Technical Officer, and myself the COO, the Chief Operations Officer. And so that we could understand for ourselves, and also for each other, that my husband is in charge of the technical aspects, and I have to give him all the authority and believe that he will do it, and do it up to the specifications that are needed, and trust that. There are times when I might remind him on something he may have forgotten, but like, I know that that is his domain, and that I need to respect that. And him also with the artistic areas, that sometimes I can drive him a little bit mad, because artistically there's a dot in the wrong place, and it's just not rounded enough, just a tiny bit, and that can kind of drive him mad, because that's on the technical aspects that's fine, and that's understanding each other's roles is really, really important, and respecting that. And also working out I try to work out a plan of action, a protocol for everything that we do, because I found out very early on that I would create a graphic, and he would be very excited and go and start working on the technical aspects, and then I say, wait a minute, I wasn't finished. Like, don't start yet, because then he's done a whole lot of work. So we try and create a protocol of so that we can understand each other and know when my job is done, when he should continue, and keep it as formal as possible while still enjoying the process and having fun together. So
wow, this sounds amazing. How do you shift from working to living? Right, this is one of the biggest questions that comes up when working with your husband. How do you not let it spill over into your entire life? How do you not, stay up all night talking about this, the detail about this thing or that thing, and sort of, shut off business so that you can have a life?
All right. It's a very big challenge. I hear that. That's a challenge for everyone. It's a big challenge also, especially because I think we enjoy what we do. So, and we enjoy the time together. So, but as my grandfather said in Afrikaans, te veel van 'n goeie ding is ongesond. If anybody out there understands that, too much of a good thing is unhealthy. And so, as much as we love that, we love the time together. Yes, too much of it. We have to understand when it's time to shut off, and when it's time to not talk about it, and to think about other things. What has been interesting, that not only has it filtered out between my husband and I, but it has actually filtered into our family. And my children have become part of the business, in terms of part of understanding who the Gedolim are that we were never exposed to before. Being part of the production process of making boxes, and of sourcing things and cleaning things. And even when I'm looking for photographs of Gedolim, so I would send my kids to Meir Sharim to go, and so with the specific orders, you can go get an ice cream, but you need to find me a photo of this Rab. And so it's become a real family event, and that I think has benefited us in so many ways. And but at the same time, as I see it benefiting in terms of like expanding our Jewish world and delving into the Gedolim, I am very wary about the borders, that they shouldn't always see us working, and we shouldn't always be involved in it, because it can turn something good into something not good. And that is something that we're constantly working on. I can't say that I have a solution yet, but I definitely try to create boundaries, and it's definitely on my to-do list every single week to make sure that I'm aware of that, of creating boundaries, of family time, of time out, and of what we speak about, because it's a real threat, because especially since it's something that you enjoy and can be good, but it can switch to something not so good very quickly, very easily. And that's something we have to be aware of.
Wow. So did you make this your full-time endeavor? Did you leave what you were doing before and now this is like your main thing? Because you were originally a computer programmer, you said?
Yeah, I'm a WordPress developer.
Oh,
I'm actually running two businesses. So
okay.
I am working still in the WordPress, and I'm also doing this. I believe that first of all, I enjoy both of them. I enjoy the programming aspect and the web aspect, but I also am enjoying this process of building a business. And over the last 2 years, I've taken multiple courses and learned an absolute fortune. And I believe that at some point I will be able to integrate the two together. I don't know what Hashem has installed for me. I don't know what opportunities are coming, but I believe that everything I'm learning and the process I'm going through, that He's given me through these Gedolim portraits, are actually going to benefit me in some way later on. And actually, I recently felt that because I gave a presentation at a networking group about web development. And what I did is I used my artwork and my art business to present all about web development and the process of taking a company through, and the aspects that influence the marketing, the getting out there, and that was this whole process I've gone through. So I don't know what plan Hashem has out there for me, but I think I'm on the road, and we'll see where things land up.
Wow, that's amazing. So what I'm hearing from you is that they very well might merge and they do affect each other. What about your husband? Because your husband was very much on the technical side, and now is he still doing what he was doing before, and this is his side thing, or is he all in?
Right. So my husband is definitely still fully focused on what he was doing before as an aeronautical engineer, and that is something I'm also very clear about. That is his full focus, and he helps me on the side. I've very much decided to move forward with this and create the business and take it to the next level, and that is something I want to do, and I feel very strong about. But and he's very supportive of it and enjoys and helps me in the process. But I have to remember that that's my endeavor, and that I can't in any way take him away from his full-time job, which is also his passion. I mean, he's been playing with airplanes since he was a little boy, and he continues to do that now. And I have to also know that I have to create boundaries about how much I can ask from him and when I can ask things from him, because
Right.
I have to remember his full focus and my focus.
And this is why it's so important. You guys put in systems and protocols, and it just, that is so important. You're so clear, and I love that. Are you really good at time management?
I'm pretty good at time management, and I enjoy putting processes together, and it's really important to me that if we're going to make this happen, we have to build the basis of our business on a very solid basis so we can scale properly, and that we can enjoy the process and not rush to do something too fast and then fail later on because we didn't think it through and we didn't set it up right. And that if we want to scale and we want to be bigger, then I can't have my husband working day and having to, can't take off work to be physically there to do the work that has to be done. We have to build it in a way that someone can take over from him where it's needed, and that his speciality will remain only in the areas that needs to be. And it's a big focus of ours.
Wow, that's huge. Okay, tell me about the art exhibit that you had, because this is so amazing that I'm sure, people noticed it. What happened? How'd you get into an art exhibit?
So, that's the exhibit I recently had in Iriat Beit Shemesh, in the Beit Shemesh municipality building, in the lobby. I noticed an article about an artwork that was there on the walls, and at the bottom of this article it said, "Contact us if you would like an exhibition, if you would like to exhibit." And I don't think anybody did except me. And I'm constantly out there looking for ideas and opportunities. And I was here. Well, I'll call. They can say yes, they can say no. And I called, and the person came to see my art, and she was really, really excited by it. Because, and one of the reasons I was also excited about the opportunity of exhibiting there is that in Beit Shemesh we have a whole lot of different types of Jews all living together, and that at some point has caused some difficulty and has caused a lot of need for unity and understanding and respect. That you have very religious Hasidic Jews, you have very traditional Jews, very Mizrahi, Haredi, American, Israeli, all from the whole gamut, and also from all over the world. It's not even, like sometimes people come and say, oh, the Americans, but it's not even Americans. I mean, I'm South African. In my building, there is family from Brazil, from Russia, from England, like all over the world. So everybody has to work to live together. And the amount of shuls in our area is huge, and they're all full, and they're all different. On our street, we have, I think, 11 shuls, and there are, and there's Breslov, there's two or three Sephardi shuls, one English Sephardi shul, a Hebrew Sephardi shul, the Ashkenazi shul, and it's amazing. It's wonderful, and I love the fact that everybody can live as Jews and be and according to their traditions, according to what's important to them, and according to how they connect with Judaism, whether it's from the Breslov connecting with Simcha, or from other types of connections, that people should be able to do that, and that we should respect that ability. So being able to present at the area, I felt was an amazing opportunity that I could present Rabbonim from the entire spectrum of Judaism, from the Sephardim, from the Hasidim, from the Ashkenazim, from the Lubavitch, and put them all together in a very respectable, mechubed way, that everybody who walks through the area, which is all of Beit Shemesh, which is all of Am Yisrael, basically, could come and see the Rabbonim next to each other in a beautiful way, respectful way, living together peacefully. And that was a very big, for myself, I very much wanted to give over that message, that it is possible for us to live together, respect each other, and be in peace and unity. And
that's so beautiful.
So that was, and we actually I put off the exhibition for a few months because I hadn't finished the Hasidic side of the Rabbonim, and I really wanted them to be able to display there at the same time. And when we had an opening of the exhibition, the mayor of the city, Liza Bloch, was there, and I spoke about my exhibition, and she also spoke, and she loved the idea as well, because I believe that we should all be able to work together to achieve it, and I know she's definitely working to achieve that, and that was my part in the story.
That's so beautiful. You know what I love? I love that your antennas are up for ideas of how to be creative, not only within the business, but also in the way that you present the business, in the way that you market the ideas, right? Because a person could be very laser focused on, I need to sell, or I need people to buy, but really it's a bigger picture that matters. It's not so much about how many I sell, it's more about what is the message I'm giving, and how can I get in front of people. So this is an amazing strategy that I don't know if you're aware of, but it's just really phenomenal to see that you're in that space.
Thank you very much. I think we discover a lot of, when we start on endeavors, or we have these opportunities that we go for, it brings up a lot of ourselves, and we don't realize initially. We think, when you start off business thinking I'm selling product A, and then you realize, well, maybe there's a reason that you're selling product A, and maybe there's something that's drawing you towards it, and then it's been a process of self-discovery. I'm discovering, myself and my family and our values, and I feel very privileged that I'm able to work in distributing Jewish connection to the world, as well as artistic connection, and the synergy of the two together, which are very big values of my own.
I love that. And I want to bring you back to the beginning of the conversation when you discussed, before you even said anything about your business, you said, me and my husband liked to dream and to just imagine what if we could buy upstairs? What if we could buy next door? That is so important in a marriage, to be able to just dream up, and be curious and play, because that is where great ideas come from, right? That's where creativity comes from. You can't force a good idea. You have to let it come out of you. And it doesn't surprise me that you're able to work together in such a seamless way when your entire basis is all about just having a good time together, right? Dreaming up, talking, having a good time, being, without it having to mean anything. Like, who cares if we can't afford the apartment next door, right? it's just a fun thought. This is something that many people don't do because, well, I can't afford it anyway, so what's the point, right? What's the point of thinking things that aren't in our our immediate way of reaching, our immediate reach. So that's something I want to bring up, because it really brings it all together, right? The way you started and the way that where you are now, I can see the progress, and the seeds were already there. So that's pretty amazing.
That's amazing. I very much thinking about now that we came to 2022 now, and we think about like goals and things that have been like my growth. They've said, I've heard that to set the goals for 2022, you should set your biggest and far-reaching goals that you may not even get there, but you could think of ideas and it gets your mind thinking of where you could be. And then you have a chance of like reaching something, and not let it be, you say, how would I do that? Or that's unrealistic. But yet to think that it's possible. Who knows?
That's super cool. Would you share with us some of your outrageous goals? What is it that you want to achieve? Maybe we can all as a community support you and share the message or share your links to get you there. I think that would be so cool.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm trying to think what our goals were. The goals were I would like to become known within the Jewish art world. So as a name, because currently very few people actually even know the art exists. And when they discover it, they love it, but they don't even know it. So there are, Bezrat Hashem, for one something I set in motion almost a year ago. It's going to be happening this upcoming week. I'm going to be in the Mishpacha, please God, in the family first section. And so, sorry?
In the magazine.
In the magazine, yes, in the magazine. Mm-hmm. So that will allow people to know that this exists, to know that they can bring it into their homes, and that is a big dream to get into the American community, that they should know. That I'm fully aware that my art is very subjective, and that there's some people who look at it and love it, and there's some people who look at it and just walk straight past. They don't even notice it, or they really do not like it. And that's totally okay. I'm okay that not everyone is going to love it. But for those people who do, and those people who are searching for it, that they should know it exists, and they should not know that there is no contradiction between good Jewish art and spirituality, Jewish spirituality. I hope to get into the English market, which is something that we have not gone into Europe. And to spread the message there between the Jews. One thing we discover is that every community is slightly different, and getting to them is very different. You have to understand those communities, and even us going into the Hasidic market, it's been we're still trying to work it out, but it's just understanding people from where they're coming from, and that has been a very big challenge. And we hope that as we expand and probably do more American Rabbonim, so that people can connect to Rabbonim that are closest to them, then that will bring up the amount of sales that we're having, and then will enable us to expand and create something, to create a massive change within the world, that there should be the people who are not putting up Rabbonim pictures at the moment. They're just leaving their walls empty will have the pictures on their walls, the Rabbonim that they can connect to, that will affect their lives and affect their children's lives. And we hope to be part of that change.
Right. I love how you say that it's, just the bigger vision, just really great. Really, really great. Okay. How can people find you? How can people connect to you? What is the name of your business so that people can know what to look for?
Thank you. So the name of my business is Ben-Sion Fine Arts. Ben-Sion is, first of all, a very strong name in my family, going back many, many generations. And we felt it represents the Gedolim, who are referenced as Bnei Zion. And so we chose that as a brand name for our art. You can find us on our website, bensionfinearts.com. Also on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn. I encourage you to join us on social media. The content that we're putting out there is very relevant to our lives, and as our lives and as religious Jews within a modern world, in a working world, and how we navigate that, and what we've seen from our experience, how we've navigated it, both from my husband's experience as being an engineer who's sent all over the world with the few hours notice to go and save a plane. And so I think it will also be very beneficial for people to read. We're located in Ramat Beit Shemesh, and our artworks, again, it's laser cut from stainless steel. And they're all the same size so that they can be combined on your wall and fit the space. You can choose your Rabbonim and fit the space. So in our wall, we have 3 artworks, one next to each other, or you could have one artwork in a corner. We've worked with architects who have taken 9 artworks and done a Gedolim wall, 3x3 Gedolim. We've had our artworks have been, the non-profits have loved to take our artworks as donations to give to their donors, who they very much appreciate and are looking for very special gifts for them. And that has been a big success. We're also able to engrave on the artwork if it's for a special occasion, so that it could be very personalized. And a lot of people ask us whether, if we don't have a Rav in our collection, would we be able to add one? And the answer is yes. We'd be happy to add more Rabbonim. We would like to expand. Baruch Hashem, there are so many Rabbonim out there, so it's hard to know which ones to go for, but we're very happy. Please let us know. And we also offer a service of custom portraits. Sometimes for a family event, for a grandparent's special anniversary, we might want to do a portrait of the grandparents and divide portraits up between the family and the grandchildren. And that's also something that we can do. So these are all different options that we offer. The best is to contact us on our website, or at me at Naama at bensionfinearts.com, or on Instagram, Facebook, and yeah.
That's amazing. This is so fun. I'm loving it. I really, really appreciate that you came on. And by the way, to anybody who's watching live or who wants to go back and watch the YouTube channel, if you look behind Naama, one of her portraits is behind her.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's really beautiful. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I appreciate that you are bringing awareness to the ability to live everything, this and that. This is something that I stand for. You can be married and have a business, and you can be connected to God and do all of the things, right? You don't have to separate yourself, or you don't have to leave something behind in order to invest in something else. So I love that you're doing that, standing for that, and being able to have this and that, the artistic and stylistic approach in your house and in your environment, to also the values that matter to you, which is really, really amazing. So thank you. If you have one piece of advice to give to someone who is thinking of working with their husband, or is in the process of, oh, wow, we actually have a good idea together, what would you say?
I would say to think about how this is going to benefit you and how you can enjoy the process together, and ensure that you keep enjoying the process together. If it's a purely financial thing or a venture, or something that doesn't connect, you have to work out how this is going to connect you and build you and not only just what the money that's going to come in, because this has to be a connecting experience.
I love that. Don't focus so much on the result, focus on the journey. Yes. The result comes at the end anyway. It just shows
Right.
up on its own.
As long as the journey is strong, and as long as you keep it strong and fun and pleasant, then you'll get there. But that has to be the focus.
Thank you so much, Naama. Thank you everyone for joining us. We will see you next time.
Thank you, Bat-Chen.